What's up, everybody? Azariel here for another Yu-Gi-Oh 101 video. I got some free time on my hand. I caught up with my schoolwork, all those damn drawings. Uh, I'm not typically off of work, but I'm up early enough to where I really don't have anything to do. So I decided to do one of my Yu-Gi-Oh 101 videos today, and I'm looking on my list, and the one I'm gonna do today is a discussion video. Um, and it's been one I wanted to do for a while. It's my first impressions. As you can see right there. I don't know if you can see it. First impressions. Right there. I don't know if that's backwards on the screen or what. On my screen it looks backwards. I don't know if that's the mirror effect. I don't know. I'm still working around with this laptop and all the little programs in it. But yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh 101 discussions video. First impressions or first experience, which is probably what I'm gonna name it, because I think it's a more accurate title. But yeah. So like my whole experience with Yu-Gi-Oh started off, I say, with the Game Boy Color, and it was a Yu-Gi-Oh game on there called what was the name of it? Dark Duel Stories, I believe. Let me see, I got it looked up right here. Yeah, that was the name of it. Like Dark Duel Stories. And for some reason, like when I seen the game, I kind of was already, I guess you can say, like I was inching towards those type of games in my life, to where like that just seemed interesting to me, and I just knew that I was just gonna like it right off of the back. Now, at this time, like I never played Yu-Gi-Oh prior to this, because I think like that's when Yu-Gi-Oh first came to the States, because the game came out in March of 2002. So like that's when everything really started to pick up for Yu-Gi-Oh. Well, not pick up, but like that's when everything really um started off for Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, uh, and when I first started playing the game, like I didn't really like it at first, maybe because of the way the game was made, because of that stupid duelist volume point deck system or whatever the hell that they had in that game. I can't remember exactly because it was like 10 years ago. Like when I played it. So like all of the features in it are still like vague to me. You know. So yeah, like I don't remember everything. So, and you're probably wondering why like I have the camera at this type of angle. Normally I have it like right there in my face, is because of that. I got a big ray of sunlight just shooting in the camera, so I had to angle it to where my head would block it. So yeah, but yeah, when I first got started with the game, like I didn't really know what the hell I was doing, but for some reason I already had understood the game like just naturally, and it was one of those things where I knew in the long run I was going to enjoy it, but for right now it was just like, but for some reason, I just kept playing the game, and the more I played it, the more I, started to get familiar with the cards and things like that. Um, and at first, like the first deck I made was an Exodia build. Like I used like a bunch of Sangans, Witches of the Black Forest. I ran 3 copies of that. Uh, and that was basically my strategy at that time, was just to get Sangan and or the Witch of the Black Forest, face down on the field. That way they can get destroyed, and I can search out a part of Exodia. And that was like my first Yu-Gi-Oh build, literally. You know, like once you, cause like back then, like Exodia was pretty much it. Like once you got wind of what Exodia could do, and like how to do it. Oh, Exodia was just all the rage. you know, and especially saying that, like back then, like I don't think any cards were banned at that time, because the game was just starting off. I don't think any cards was banned. So you're talking about like having like Pot of Greed at 3, Sangan at 3, Witch of the Black Forest at 3. Because there was no need to do any of that back then. But yeah, pretty much I believe pretty much everything was unlimited back then. So you really had like a big wide range of options. Well, not many, because the game just started off, but like you had enough to where you didn't have anything or any type of rules there to pretty much stop you from uh having these kind of builds, and those builds are like being as effective as they could be. So after I moved on from the Dark Duel stories, I believe the next game I played in Yu-Gi-Oh was, I believe it was the World Championship 2004. Yeah, like I believe that's what the name of it was. And obviously, like it came out in 2004, so. And with that game, like that's when my strategical side in Yu-Gi-Oh really started to pick up. Like at first, like when I played that game, like my main strategy, like at first, like it had pretty much been like a year in between time, uh, a year or almost a year in between the Dark Duel stories in the 2004 World Championship games. Because I remember that after the Dark Duel stories, I did like take a hiatus from playing it, but I got right back into it later on. And what I did, like my first build that I made from that was, it was like a low level high attack build. Like I had Vorse Raiders, uh, Gemini Elves, like um, uh, um, Archfiend Soldier. Like I believe that Archfiend Soldier was available on that game. But yeah, like it was just a bunch of level 4s with 1900 attack, you know, and sometimes they had like 2000 defense, things like that. So that was my main strategy. Like I can't remember any spells that I had exactly outside of like Monster Reborn. Uh, I think at that time Harpy's Feather Duster was still legal, and I think I was using it, but I'm not 100% sure of that, so don't quote me on it. But yeah, like I was using like Sakuretsu armor. Or you know what, like I'm not even going to get into the spells and traps because I don't even remember exactly which ones I had back then. I could be wrong, but after a while, me playing in the Yu-Gi-Oh 2004 edition, um, for some reason I just took interest in scrolling through cards, like just checking my trunk just to see what was in there for some reason. Like I was just interested in the game to that point to where I would want to look at every card that they had. And it was just a part of me that just wanted to do it. And when I came across like Grin Maju, Grin Maju, Aiza, I still can't pronounce that last name to save my life. But yeah, like Grin Maju, it was a monster with a question mark for an attack and defense. It was unknown. Um, and the effect was that I believe you get 400 attack and defense for every card that you have removed from play. And yeah, for some reason, when I looked at that card, I was like, they wouldn't put a card like this in the game unless it was some way to use it. So I started, like putting that together with like a bunch of man eater bugs, um, old vindictive magicians, like cards like that that can like destroy my opponent's monsters. And I had like soul release, cards like that that can banish well, back then they could just call it remove from play. They didn't have the term banish then, but like you can remove from play the monsters from your graveyard or your opponent's graveyard, which means like my main focus was just to power up Grin Maju, you know, and just to get it as strong as possible, and then just set it face down and just let my opponent attack the face down Grin Maju. And since they had all those removed from play cards, uh, then like, his defense would be so high that when they attacked them, the Grin Maju while I was face down and the flip face up, that all of their life points was just dwindle. I remember I got Grin Maju's defense up to, man, like 9,000 or probably like 10,000 or something at one point, because I had so many cards removed from play, and I just got it so powerful that when it attacked face down, it was game over. And that was pretty much my main strategy: just take out all the cards on my opponent's side, pretty much wipe the field you know, with the man eater bugs and old vindictive magicians, etc. Uh, the Harpy's Feather Duster, just make sure you ain't got no traps, spells, and things like that. And, like just beat you like that. So that was like my first, I can honestly say like that was my first most memorable, well, not most memorable, but like that was my first taste of actually trying to put together a cohesive strategy. Because unlike my Exodia build, where you pretty much didn't have to worry about nothing but like just getting your monsters destroyed. Pretty much with this one, it was like you had to have some strategy, and you had to make sure that when the monsters got destroyed, you can take out your opponent's monsters, and you had to banish them. So I would say that it was more responsibility, and it was more that you had to do with that build. So I would say that that was my first real deck, and I still use that deck to this day. You know, so yeah. So this thing has been going on for like what, 15 minutes. I don't know if you can see the recorder up there. Uh, I'm using this Cyberlink UCam. So yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, like I didn't want to go too deep into it. I just wanted to give you guys a taste of my first experiences and my first impressions with Yu-Gi-Oh, because this is gonna tie like into another video I'm gonna do speaking on Yu-Gi-Oh now and then, just comparing the games to the game of, you know, where it used to be up to what it is now. And I believe, you know, like just to give you like a quick sneak peek of that, I think like that the game is much more fast paced than it is was back then. You know, like now, like it's much faster. You know, so yeah, so that's pretty much it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and all my meaningless ramble. But yeah, so I guess tell me, what was your first experiences with Yu-Gi-Oh? Like what was the first game you played, or like what was the first deck you ever made? You know, like or like what year did you start playing it? You know, like what did you think about Yu-Gi-Oh at first? You know, it's a Yu-Gi-Oh one-on-one discussion video. It's just meant to open up some discussion within the Yu-Gi-Oh community, as is with all my Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, one-on-one discussion videos. So yeah, so that's it. I'm just gonna kick back and chill, maybe play some video games. You might catch me on Dueling Network today, in like an hour or so. And my name on there is Azariel, Azareal. You know, same the way it is on here. And yeah, you guys can check me out on there if you just so happen to be on when I'm on. But yeah, that being said, I'm gonna end this video here, and you know, you guys take care. Peace.